Jeff's there.
Is he? Oh, I see him, yeah.
Yep. Your call.
Let's go ahead and we'll catch up with anyone who's not here. I'm sure you'll make yourself available.
Yep. Okay. Kind of a busy agenda. We've got three folks on the public agenda. We're looking into number 2. We think that's an issue actually in the county, not in the city. But that's all on page 1. On page 2, just at the bottom, number 1 on new business, you set this data hearing so you're familiar with this item. It would establish a $380,000 special assessment for a facade project at 400 South Emporia. That's all I have on page 2. On page 3, number 2 would authorize us to apply for a no-emission bus grant for the purchase of 24 electric buses to replace our current paratransit buses. And again, moving towards all-electric fleet at some point. Number 3 is the 2021 bridge rehab project. We do this annually. This is an allocation of $500,000. This year, the money is earmarked for the removal of the 10th Street Bridge and securing walkways on the 15th Street Bridge, both over the Wichita Drainage Canal. And we'd be doing that as a single project. Number 4 is the annual rebate program to encourage water conservation. And this would be for rebate of installation of water appliances and devices in remodeling projects, not in new construction. Number 5 is an allocation of $500,000 for street, sidewalk, and traffic control improvements to our safe school routes. And this is funded 50% by USD 259. Number 6 is a 1-year contract for the installation of 110 license plate reader cameras at a cost of $275,000. We had a short pilot project that showed the effectiveness of this system, and so we are recommending basically to continue that pilot project for a 1-year period. For one more year, yes.
What's the plan after that?
I'm sorry?
And then will it be evaluated?
Yes, we'll evaluate at that time. $275,000 is, it's expensive. It's coming out of our innovation fund that the council put aside last year, but it would have to find a permanent home in the police department after that. If we continue to get the kind of results that we did during the short pilot, I think it would be well justified. And some of those results are outlined in the council report.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob.
Is this, Bob, is this flock, I'm sorry, is this new this year? You mentioned?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's new in that we did a pilot with Flock. That Flock again was testing the concept with us, and I don't believe we incurred any, or if we did, there were nominal costs for that pilot. But to extend it, we have to pay for the cameras and the system.
Okay. I've had some conversations with some police officers about how good this flock system is really doing in the short amount of time that we've had it. I'm hearing very good things about it.
Yeah, we've got a number of stories about effective, where they've actually been able to find criminals quickly, and then they've recovered over $1 million in stolen vehicles. And they just found allegedly someone who has been involved in catalytic converter theft.
Okay.
And the cameras resulted in that,
Well,
their
I had heard it
apprehension.
found that street racing incident just the other night that injured that boy. It found the 2 vehicles involved in that.
Yeah, it's an effective system.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to tell some of those stories. I was speaking with the union president for the state who mentioned that the system was able to find, I think, a child who was suspected of being kidnapped.
Number 6.
So you're onto something, council member. I think there's some very worthwhile stories to talk about with this program.
Number 7 is a contract to coordinate the grant implementation for the Project Hope grant. That was a $1 million award that we received from Department of Justice to address crime hotspots in an area between Murdoch and Kellogg from Waco to Washington. Page 4, number 8. This is to increase the contract that we have with Syndio. We wound up using the Syndio employees to help us ramp up for the emergency rental assistance program, and so there's a need to expand to expand that contract. And at the bottom of page 4, number 2, on the planning items, this is a little unusual. This will define the urban areas of influence in the county, as well as the 2035 urban growth area map will be amended. And this basically establishes the area in which we have a right to comment on development plans in property that's adjacent to our boundaries, not necessarily, but not in the community. And also it outlines our anticipated growth area so that we can do, and the region can do infrastructure planning.
I think it's the first time I saw a green sheet in color.
There you go. I did each one of those.
You stayed in the line.
Yeah. My markers, yes.
And did you do all the attachments too?
Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact. The colors are different in each for each of you, so yeah. On page 5, the bottom, number 1 from the airport, this is a $1.2 million airport special facility revenue bond project to renovate offices at Eisenhower for Garver LLC. Nothing else, nothing on 6, nothing on 7. On page 8, 4A, this is annual contribution of, allocation of $250,000 to assist with the creation of buffer strips and other erosion and pollution control measures in the Cheney watershed. And if we get back to a time where we were able to do tours, it would be probably good for the council to do another tour of that watershed and visit with some of the farmers that have been participating in the program. It's the last time we did that, it was, I think, really a positive experience. Bottom of page 8, number 7. This is accepting $10,000 in grant funds from Kraft for improvements at the Ice Center. Number 9, page 9.
Sorry, Bob, did we already identify what those funds are going to be?
No, well, there's discussions with the users, I think it's primarily the hockey users that were involved in the contest. And then they're taking, it's a $20,000 grant, $10,000 goes for equipment purchases by the youth hockey group. Number 8 is a $5,000 grant for tennis instruction at Park and Rec summer camps. Number 10, this is asking for approval of the overestimate bid for the Watson Park Event Center. Bid came in about $96,000 higher than our estimate, and the park department is asking for permission to take that from the park facility enhancement project, some of the funds in that project. Number 11 is an agreement with the Sheriff's Office and Children and Families to operate the Exploited and Missing Child Unit. And then related to that is a receipt of a grant, that's number 12, a $145,000 grant from DOJ to help support that unit. Number 13 is a $2,000 grant from State Farm to help with the purchase and distribution of car seats.
I just looked at it briefly, but that looks like a really cool addition.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm excited to learn more.
And then on page 10, number 14 is a grant from the state for $6,500 for overtime costs associated with the seatbelt enforcement program, nighttime seatbelt enforcement. That's all I have on 10, all I have on 11, except, no, I'm sorry, in the bottom of 11, spilling over to 12, is another 12-week extension of the food box program for the distribution of food to residents in our public housing units.
I'd just like to make a comment, Bob. I was fortunate enough to get to do the city spotlight on that program and went to meet with the folks at housing and got to meet some of the residents, but also the vendor that we have the contract with. And it's a local woman-owned, minority-owned business. And because of this program, she doubled her number of employees, which she went from 2 to 4. But still, it was like win, win, win. It was just, and it was so heartwarming to meet with the residents and hear their stories about how this is helping them during really challenging times. And they also have formed some relationships with the vendor because they come and deliver the food. So it was just a really great program, and I'm glad we can extend it.
Mayor, that's all I have.
How long was that program being extended for? Did you say 12 weeks?
12 weeks, yep.
All right, any questions? Comments or open discussion?
Hey, Bob, can you tell me what does the nighttime seatbelt enforcement, what exactly does that involve?
I can have well, let me get the report. I don't know that I've got.
I'm on, Bob, if you'd like me to answer.
Go ahead, Gordon.
Yeah, this is just a standard grant for traffic safety. You know, we saw an increase in our fatalities last year. We went from 28 to 36. And, you know, we still see a significant number of our crashes and injury accidents that do not involve seatbelts. So it is nighttime enforcement also with some emphasis on DUI, aggressive driving, et cetera.
So, thank you, Chief. So are those stops, or are they is it where they, you know, where they block the road off and stop everybody? Are they stopping random people, or what's that look like?
Counselor, it's focusing on seatbelt enforcement. It is not a it's not a checkpoint. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
I had a question for Chief Ramsey, maybe. This flock system, is that something that could replace any talk of the shot spotter technology that we've had so much trouble with implementing the last few years?
Counselor, no, it does not have any shot detection capability. It does have, it has helped us significantly though with shooting, finding suspects, shooting suspects, homicide suspects, but it does not have the detection option.
Chief,
thank
the
you,
two
Chief.
combined though can be pretty effective, right? If we know of shots fired and the camera system could help us in terms of identifying vehicles fleeing the scene, right?
Mr. Manager, the two together are really would be a dream for us if we can get them coordinated and if we can get shot spotter to where we need it, we will be we'll be in a good place, no doubt.
Further discussion? If there is none, then, and if there's no objections, then we are adjourned. We are adjourned.